Shot this bird here Sunday morning. We're going to show you how to clean it up and make some turkey tenders with it. So I gutted him after I shot him, and it's been pretty dang cold here in Bozeman for the last couple days, and got this bird cold out in my garage. So what we're going to show you now is how to breast the turkey and get the leg meat and then make some turkey tenders. So this is a lunchtime special brought to you by Stone Glacier. First step, I want to save this Tom's beard, so I'm just gonna cut that off of there. Now the next step, whether this is a turkey or a mourning dove, is going to be kind of the identical process. So the turkey's breast meat is located right here. You got two giant turkey breasts on either side. Now the easiest way to get to that stuff is to part the feathers and get down to the skin on the breast. And what we want to do is cut through this and split this bird in half and get to the breast meat, the good stuff. So I can see a little bit in here. I can see the skin making a cut, cutting down towards his head and working the skin so I can get to the breast meat underneath. This is not the sharpest knife in the house for sure, but we're gonna make it work. So once you get it started, you can kind of work it by hand a little bit. If you got this cut about a foot long down his chest, you can kind of grab it and pull it back. This is just some fat there. And pretty quick you're going to start to see all the breast meat here. But there's basically half the bird. So what we want to do to get this breast meat off of the bird is to cut down the sternum and then work the breast meat away from the body cavity. Like I said, whether this is a duck, and I'm not some big bird hunter at all, but I have cleaned quite a few birds, and the process is identical whether it's a turkey or a hummingbird. So you're going to want to follow your knife right down the sternum there and start to work this breast meat off of this bird. So cut straight down, following the bone. Following the bone here, and just scoop this meat out. If you've ever cut out back straps, it's almost similar to that, where you're just pulling and scooping. Don't want to miss the big chunk up here in the front. And just pulling the meat away and following that body cavity with my knife. Cutting the breast away, cutting some of that fat away, cutting some of this fat away up front here. Still following down. Now, this is Thanksgiving bird. We'd be near the wishbone here. We might have to pull that out of him and have our own wild turkey wishbone here. Once we get down to the bottom, there's a pretty thick tendon that you got to get cut through. And you're still just working it away from the body here. Here's the start of the wing bone. And cutting down, pulling it away. And there is one turkey breast. So, identical process on the other side. And then we'll get the leg meat off of it for the slow cooker, but today we're going to be working with the breast. I'm going to go get a new knife blade. Be right back. Here we have one turkey breast. Here we have the other turkey breast, vacuum sealed and ready to go in the freezer. But for lunch today, we're going to cut up this breast and turn it into delicious turkey tenders. So a lot of wild turkeys end up being cooked like this. It's not that complicated and it's really good. So what I want to do first is cut the breast into tender sized strips. just like any other meat. I like to cut against the grain there. And you just want to envision about how big you want your turkey tender after it's coated and all the batter and stuff. So something about like the size of a Sharpie marker, something like that. So I'm going to try to make a bunch of those, all consistent size. Got the turkey all cut up into consistently sized little pieces of strips of meat. We are going to make a hot sauce milk bath for the strips to soak in for a while before we come out here and coat them and bread them and throw them in the oil to fry. But let's start with the milk bath. So we got whole milk today. If you got buttermilk, that's best, but there's a pandemic going on and I'm supposed to stay out of the grocery store. So we are making this entire meal out of things we already got in our pantry. Whole milk, use buttermilk if you got it. Hot sauce, I like Tabasco, so we're gonna throw a couple dashes of that in there and whip this up. We want to let all of our turkey meat soak in that milk bath for at least an hour. So we're going to let it do its thing here while I prep the rest of our ingredients. So while our turkey soaks in the milk bath, we got our dry ingredients here that we want to whip up first. I've got some Bisquick and some breadcrumbs. You can use flour if you like. Bisquick is just my favorite. I'm going to add some salt. And I'm just winging it on all of these measurements. That's probably a couple tablespoons, something like that. I really like black pepper. We're gonna throw some black pepper in the mix here. That looks pretty good. We got some garlic powder. Now this is something you probably don't want to get carried away with. Just use a little bit. Crushed red pepper flakes, make it a little spicy. Match that Tabasco. And kick it up even a little bit more with a little cayenne. So not really measuring it, but that's probably a couple teaspoons each of those seasonings. Now we're going to add a little dash, like a quarter teaspoon of some baking powder. This is a cool way to add some fluff to your breading on the side of those chicken strips and makes them a little more meaty with the breading and sticking to them. I need a spoon. So we just want a little bit of this stuff. Very good. All right, so that's it for the dry ingredients. And we're gonna stir all those together. Okay, next we need to make our egg wash. So I've got 3 eggs here. And what I'm gonna do is scramble them up in this shallow dish and add a little bit of water to it. This is just a real simple egg bath, egg wash to get this stuff to stick to the meat. Got our eggs. I'm going to use just a little bit of water as well. And we're going to whisk those up. Whoop! Just a matter of time. If you ain't making a mess, are you even cooking? So we're gonna go wet, dry, wet, dry. We're starting wet, finishing dry. So now that it's been a good hour of this meat soaking in this buttermilk hot sauce mix, we're gonna start setting some of these up. So we're starting dry. We're going wet. Trying to keep my dry hand and my wet hand as separate as possible. Mix those up a little bit in the egg. And then they're going to go back into our dry and get extra coated. Nope, just the dry hand. You can see the tenders are going to look something like this when they hit the fryer. On a medium to high heat, you want to get your oil going. Looks like today we're going to use a combination of vegetable oil and olive oil because that's what we got. It's just frying food. Don't overthink it. So we'll get this oil heated up. So we got the turkey tenders ready to fry. I have no idea how hot this oil is, but if you take a little piece of shrapnel here and drop it into the oil, you can kind of get an idea of what it's going to do, and you put the turkey tender in. That looks pretty good to me. So we're going to add these strips in now. Oh, that is nice. You don't want to overcrowd your pan because you don't want them sticking together. So probably call it about good there. Couple minutes on each side. Flip them out, let them dry on some paper towels, hit them with some salt. Eat some lunch. We got some Traeger signature today that we're going to be dunking with. They got a lot of good sauces and seasonings, but that original one there is pretty damn good. Oh, that is nice. Feel like you're KFC, you know what I'm saying? Well, that one came out nice, as did that one and that one. You want to hit them with a little bit of salt. That looked like a lot, but only a little bit stuck. It's fun to kill them. It's fun to cook them. And I'm going to show you in a minute. It's fun to eat them. Little Traeger. Little turkey. Man, it's got good flavor. The breading is just as enjoyable as the turkey meat. Just full of flavor from everything we put in it. Yeah, you're not going to mess that up. Oh! You grabbed a tough one!
One bite. Everyone knows the rules.
Man, you had to work through that.
Oh, that's hot. That's really good, actually.
I think you got a big, chewy piece of tendon.
That is surprisingly good.
Surprised? Why are you surprised?
2 thumbs up if I wasn't holding the camera. What do you rate it?
I rate it high, like an 8.5, because you can take these and you can make a sandwich out of them. You can put them on a salad. You can eat them straight up. You can do anything with them, and they're just delicious. I don't think they're that healthy, but I'm not terribly concerned about that. Another reason to shoot turkeys.